There we go. I called the March 2nd, 2022 Historic District Commission meeting to order, and I will entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Are there any additions or corrections to the December 1st minutes before we vote to approve them?
There should be the two corrections we discussed last month when there was an issue about the replacement of the brick with the stucco. I really don't care how it's done, but it should be mentioned that this should be consistent with what was on the recording. So on the second page on line 9, where it says when Samantha had when she was asked if they would be removing the brick, she actually stated that the brick would be removed and the stucco would be in its place. And then when we made the motion with the items on the next paragraph down, it was stated that it will be covered with stucco. And I just want to make a note that is in the recording. The first mention made by Samantha was in around 15 minutes into the recording, and the motion that was made was placed around 36 minutes into the recording, if you all want to verify it.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as corrected, please.
I'll make a motion to approve as corrected.
Okay. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Before we start with the applications, we will do our annual election of chairman and vice chairman. And nominations are open for chairman.
I'd like to nominate Nornie Bunting.
And I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
There we go.
You changing seats?
Yes, we are.
Thank you. And I guess I need to have a motion for vice chairman.
I nominate Laura Stearns.
I'll second that.
motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
All right. So moving right along, let's go to signage for 14 Broad Street. Travis Martin. This is case number 3-2-22-02. One in front, please.
And just introduce yourself for the record.
Ever have you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm Brandon Slotniski. I'm one of the owners of the business at 14 Broad Street, Soundstorm Records. Travis Martin is our landlord.
I'm Lauren Carlson. I'm also co-owner of Soundstorm Records.
All right, welcome.
Thank you.
And you're applying for a sign?
Correct.
For your business?
Yes.
And what is your business?
We are a record store.
Okay, great.
Retail.
Great. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I guess, Mary, can you start with you? Do you have any questions?
Well, I think I was out on the West Coast. My daughter lives in Portland, Oregon, and records are a big deal out there. When she came home, she went right through our attic. So if I didn't have younger people in my family, I would be like, oh yeah, vinyl. Lots of those up on the third floor. Well, very innovative idea, and you're right back in the time. So good luck
Absolutely.
and best wishes. Love to have all the different kinds of destination shops, which I would think you all would become a destination, and people would come specifically to Berlin when they find out you all have something that they like, the vinyl records. So
We certainly hope so.
Best wishes.
Carol?
I love the sign. I think it's great. I introduced myself. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Robert?
I'm fine.
Laura?
I like it.
John?
I like it. I like the design. I like the logo.
I do too.
And I see that, so the bracket is already attached and you're just putting the
Correct,
sign
yes.
on.
Yeah, we had it made specifically for the bracket that is existing.
That's the one when Cassandra and Randy had their oil and vinegar, that's what they had their sign at.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, then, sounds like everybody's pretty good. Could we
I
entertain a
think we should
motion?
designate this a very unique shop. When Oil and Vinegar came to be a shop, I thought that was pretty amazing for Berlin, and now Vinyl Records, I think you all have a unique boutique.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
spot,
yeah,
yeah.
that's right.
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second that. That's good.
All right, so we have a motion on the floor, and we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, you're
Thank you
approved.
so much.
Thank you.
So much, appreciate it.
Short and painless for you.
Thank you.
All right. All right, so now we are to revitalization of Main Street from 19 North Main to 7 North Main Street, alterations. Samantha, come on up.
Hello again.
Hello, how are you?
I'm well, and you?
Very fine, thank you. And so what we'll do is I'll let you go ahead, if you would tell us what you want to do there, and then if any commissioners have any questions or whatnot.
Sure thing.
Thank you.
As you've seen in the packet, I included a lot of pictures of how we look today. We went ahead with the demolition so that we could see what was underneath, to get a better idea what we were working with, because the shape of the other awning is not what we're going to come back with. I think if you are familiar with Mr. Parker's building and his awning, that's just one example. They're all throughout town, but that's the type of awning we're going to go back with the metal coil. I don't know if it's rope or steel, but the steel things that brace onto the brick, and they will brace on. If you've been out to the building, you've seen that there are some of those up in the brick. We're just going to try to rejoin where those are. We'll be changing nothing on the second level. You know, that the windows will all remain very similar, if not exactly the same. Any rotten wood will be replaced. The little white vents up here, those will all be replaced. They're all rotten, so those will all need to be taken care of. As far as the architectural details along the roof line, I know you guys are all very keen on us keeping those, and so every one of those will remain intact as is right now, especially the one that says Powell on it. There is no changes to that, perhaps maybe clean, but that would be the extent of changes on that. The majority of the changes are at the Main Street level, like right at the street level. And you can see on the renditions that we gave you a couple options. We wanted to get your feedback because you had such great opinions for the other buildings that we've done, that we wanted to get your opinions and kind of give you some, just, you know, our suggestion of what we think will work based on, I went around town and I took pictures of many of the other buildings that are in town to kind of get a color scheme that would still be unique. And then I used historic district, or historic colors off the color chart from Sherwin-Williams for the most part, except for the blue, because they didn't have one. But I think blue is a very classic and timeless color, the navy color that is rendered on the Shepherd Realty part of the rendition. And since navy is such a timeless color, I was hoping that that color would meet your acceptance.
Very good, very good. Let's see here, windows, nothing of that sort will be changed at all, as far as the upper windows.
Correct. If the windows are rotten, we would replace them, but we will replace them with windows like the rest of the building.
Okay.
So only if they require to be replaced due to condition.
With wooden windows, if you had to replace, would they remain wood?
They would be replaced with this similar style that we have in the other windows.
Okay.
Which we've already replaced, you know, the newer versions that are in some of the second floor, they would be replaced with similar to that.
May I
what's
just
the
ask a question? Can
Yeah.
I back up a minute? Samantha, I'm looking, can you point out what page should I look at to see the blue that was on Jenny's? Looking for a blue. Is it shadowed because of the door? Is it the door color that I can see, or?
I can see.
It's like this, Mary? It's the big one? It's the three where they're colored. I don't know what page it is on what your document is looking at.
Huh? Maybe we not, I don't.
We don't have that.
I don't have that either, I was just checking.
Okay, then, do you have this page?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yes. So that's where they have the yellow trim at the bottom and the yellow at the top.
It's a gold, but yes, ma'am. It's a color called classical gold.
You know what, is that the color you're thinking about? Or I didn't know if that was a primary color, or is that the color that you all would like to use?
It's a historic color called classical gold. It shows up in the Sherwin-Williams deck for historic colors.
You know what gold does, and it's the color of all of our trucks, and the reason it is, and it's an eye grabber, and your Corvettes, the first colors that came out was that yellow or Corvette gold or whatever, because it'll stop your eye. Yellow will just stop your eye, which is why when we did our business trucks, came with the idea, let's do, instead of green and white, let's do this. And what concerns me a little bit about that, something to think about, the only time I've ever found that that works if it's repeated, either in the signage or something where your eye travels. What yellow does like that is it stops your eye. You just look at something and you stop, you don't move, which is this group of beautiful old buildings. You want your eye to say, oh, isn't this, you've got the awnings going, you've got the windows in sync. In order as you come out of the hotel, which would be your one looking at it, I think you would want to have that kind of vision. And that, because maybe it's a rough rendering right here.
I think,
Just my thought.
I think you might, it's hard to get, because I print this on a copier, right? And then it's emailed to you, it's repeated many, many times. But I was.
Perhaps mine is just more glaring.
I was
because it's
going for a color-
bright yellow. It isn't golden, it's like canary yellow on my.
Is it the page that says version 2?
Mine says version 1.
It's version 1 or version 2. Actually didn't change the color on that one. But if you've seen the Art League building on Main Street, it was a color very similar to theirs. They have a black and gold color scheme on that building, and I picked a color that I thought was very
Well,
similar
that
to
was like
that.
on the restaurant with the Maryland flag.
Yeah, that's a much more yellow.
So will this be repeated any other place or just on this one building, this gold black, or is it going to be all of it be gold and black?
Maybe, golden maybe, I think she said.
Well, perhaps we could pass these
Yeah.
down. These
Okay,
might
let's
be
do that,
easier to see.
or maybe our colors
There's
off.
version 1 too.
So that's a little more tan looking, this one is just bright,
I
bright
think that's
yellow. This
because
is
it's
what I'm
passed on
talking about,
the
here's some afterwards. It's
Right,
so
right, and
golden.
I didn't show up that yellow, but there's that version, and then,
Yeah, that's,
Tan.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
this is more tan. This is
right, it's
more of a
definitely not a yellowy
electric yellow.
color.
It's a different one. It's not like the yellow in the middle of the street, the lines that goes down the middle of the street
No,
out there.
here's the color on the color chart,
Well, this is what
Mary.
I'm saying, these are very different, this kind of yellow.
Mary, there's the color on the color chart, here, look.
That's what at that one, that's like I call Withy House Gold, which is a Williamsburg color. The first one up there, that was one called Withy House Gold. I know that one, but as I
Yeah.
said, the way it comes out here is more like a
And I
canary
apologize,
yellow. Well,
I
you'll
think-
see what I
You
mean.
know, I
Oh, I
actually,
agree.
I thought the yellow was like highlighter to show the
Now,
trim.
it's supposed to be like that color, and again, this is from the historic section
there is
of
a
the
whole chart.
Sherwin-Williams colors. Did you want to?
I'll look. I'll take it, pass it down.
The pink stickers are representative of the colors that were chosen for tonight's, not the notarized stickers.
And Mary, what you had, one of your questions was, is all of them going to be?
Yeah, I was just going to address them. I look at that.
No, it is. You look-
Or these buildings be different?
What I was trying to do was 1719, which is Shepherd Realty in East
Okay,
Maine.
the small
Those
ones,
would
too.
both have the classical gold color, but East Maine would have a black accent, and the Shepherd Realty would have a navy accent. So it would be consistent on at the second floor, but at the street level, because they're two different businesses, give just a little bit of a differentiation.
Well, I think what comes to mind, I don't mean to interject so quickly, but that's just how my mind goes, boom, 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 is the buildings are buildings. Businesses will come and go all the time, and to my mind's eye, I'd like to see a flow of the architecture of the period of the buildings that you're eyeing, that doesn't, which is, I said, it's a design thing. you dress very well, so I think you understand. I'm just observe things. People say, oh, doesn't that look nice? There's like, oh, red, green, blue, yellow. I really would like to see more of a flow there.
I
personally.
agree. I think it should all, like your eyes should just go right
Yeah,
down.
that's a
And it shouldn't be
design.
drawn the different, but first of all, let me just say how thrilled I am when I saw paint color is nothing compared to
that's-
how, the
Structure.
structure. And you've given us what we're looking for.
Oh, thank you.
I mean,
Thank you.
you know, and look, what an improvement. Thank you so much, because it's the main part of Main Street, you know, and it needed it, and what you're gonna do is gonna be beautiful. But I agree with Mary, and I know where you're going with it. Your eye needs to just carry right down. It should just flow and not be broken up. And if I were to pick a yellow color, I know it's historic, but I would pick something a little more understated.
Soft.
But maybe just do all of it the same so that it,
Your eye travels.
you know.
And you look at the architecture of the building, and don't get caught up in the color of the trim. Just like the Atlantic Hotel, you see the architecture, I can't even, right now, if you ask me what color everything was, I'd have to think, for instance, green.
Right,
I'm not
exactly,
sure,
yeah.
but you see the architecture of the building, and there's a flow there. And that's what I think we're looking for on Main Street. That.
I had a rendition earlier where we did everything in a navy and gray. We did it the whole way down. That we looked at, that was somewhat appealing, absolutely. And the majority of the colors that I've chosen, again, I went through all of the downtown area.
Yeah.
And, you know, stores had their individuality, buildings had their individuality, you know, the Italian restaurant doesn't look like Korea Charm,
Right.
you know, and if there's a breakup there, and they're different buildings. And so since ours was 3 different buildings, that's why I kept it. And I did try to keep it very consistent above the metal awning, but just have that little bit of differentiation down at the street level. But as I said, we came with some open versions and are absolutely looking for your feedback on colors of whatever you choose.
I think looking at that, in our minds, even though there's, you know, it's all one property in our minds. I guess that's the way we think of it, from growing up maybe, but.
Well, I think that's at the hotel. I mean, of course, the hotel is a freestanding hotel building. But again, I keep remembering the word, a flow of unity, and they almost, these are with the Taylor Bank and the most significant buildings there on Main Street. And to me, making different colors and all that is taking away the integrity of the architecture, because your eye goes from the architecture, which is truly predominant, but colors will grab your eye. That's where I'd rather, just a personal thought on that, with a background in color and art, is that certainly colors can be, but they should be complementary, and they should be flowing and not competing with the architecture of the building. Because, you know, whatever the shop owners decide to do by their window or their whatever, that's
Signs.
different, yeah. So that's just my thoughts on that.
I love the navy, I love navy, and,
I did find my inspiration for the gold color. If you could look at this picture, it's those 2 buildings have gold on them, and that's the flavor of color I was trying to go for. It's
But
much
you
more
have
subtle
it's
than
like,
your
it's a
renditions.
subtle. it's
Yes,
a
exactly.
subtle blue. It isn't a marine yacht color blue. It's a subtle.
No, I'm
blue
showing
which
the
has
gold.
gray in it, or has a
I-
little black in it that gives it more subtle.
I'm showing the gold in that.
picture that.
And even though it does have the same color at the top, the colors of the different stores just don't,
Stores is where they've gone ahead, and which is fine.
they don't complement each other,
They-
I
It's
think.
a more of a flow there. That's just-
But still,
So what's showing you here is the gold.
Yeah, I'm just showing
Yeah,
the
which
gold
is-
in that picture.
And that is.
This is a
subtle,
navy
those
that's
coral
also in
navy.
town,
Yeah.
on the top here. Would that be a navy that you would find acceptable?
I like the other better.
Yeah, a little darker.
Yeah, this is more contemporary blue, that's more of a, my personal, it's the other blue has some black and white gray, bringing that bright blue down, which I call nautical blue, bringing it down to a beautiful blue, but it doesn't take your eye. To me, speaking architecturally, when you have something like that, it takes away from the architecture, which is why we sit here really not color champions as much as we are champions for the architecture and the flow of the city, the flow of the town. How it looks to the eye when someone comes in like, wow, isn't that attractive? And not, After I brought that out, when it was brought out to my attention as a young art student, I never forgot it. And it is something you don't think about till you see it. Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, I think it's going to look terrific. I don't question once everything gets going. And I think everything that comes in with people having different opinions, we sort of filter through and find what really works for you.
Do we have to
company.
decide on the color tonight?
I don't think we do. Just let them get going, because that's one of the last things they'll be doing on listen, so they can just get going.
Would you want me to come here multiple times?
No, we wouldn't.
Well, how long, what do you think your space of the project is, Samantha? When do you think you all will be
Can they just bring the colors?
in the
and
last
show
month
them?
or two before you're ready to go to the stores? Do you have
We
a
don't-
game plan or a estimated time?
We don't usually specify color.
No, I know we don't, but I'm just saying to her, I still feel so strongly about the architectural thought. I feel like, I'm just curious, when is this building hopefully to be open to the public? Just a thought, when do they need to wrap this up? They need to get going with structural things. I
Well,
know that they need.
we don't have a permit application yet. They were trying to get their approval, and then they'll move forward with that,
Well,
right?
Fine.
Sam? Yeah. So, weeks.
oh, April?
I would guess. Sam, is that
I was
correct?
thinking with the other one was so much going on inside, I was sort of thinking same building when they got inside, perhaps you were 6 months or even I didn't really haven't had this conversation with anyone, but I know how much you all found when you got on the back street back there at the restaurant, when you got in structurally in there. I had no idea. I would have thought maybe it would have been similar in this building as well. So I was thinking maybe it was down the road in the fall or something. I had no idea. I never saw any.
The sooner the better, right?
Yeah, they want to get going, so. I mean,
Well, of
it's
course,
something-
I have no problem with them
I mean,
getting going.
Main Street's like, it makes such an impact, so I'm glad they want to do it fast.
And
Maybe
let
they
me
could
just
check
ask,
in Dave's
Sam,
office.
Sam,
And then
the,
they color sample or something.
where you're putting the color on, the panels that hit the sidewalk and then above, that's AZEK type material?
We would be looking at whatever materials are going to be the most long-term lasting, but yes.
Like that raised panel look is like we have elsewhere on
Every,
Main.
yeah, we're very much copying every other architecture. I mean, I've got
But
picture after picture.
they're composites, like AZEK's just one brand, you know, that you can cut that out of. Okay.
Aren't we supposed to make sure, are we supposed to know the product before we approve it, right?
Normally it would be wood or it would be AZEK. And
Okay.
if they're
So
gonna have
if
some,
we're okay with either one, we could say
we can
to
go
her,
for-
we're either one, right?
that's how you get
Yeah,
that
okay.
detail. Yeah, out of either one, you'd get that detail. So the reason everybody seems to go for the AZEK, it's kind of like a composite. It's made out of different glue and it's made out of byproducts like sawdust and PVC. But it's fairly maintenance-free. It doesn't hold water.
Forever.
You can paint it, and the paint will adhere to it, so the only thing they would do over the years is repaint it maybe. But it's not gonna rot like
Yeah,
a wood,
yeah,
like a wood
absolutely.
piece would. So,
I have two questions.
Go ahead.
On the front, the panels, and I don't know what the composite was, but that maroony that you pulled off as you go down and there's brick underneath, you're gonna clean that brick up, right?
Yes, anywhere we can, and in the renderings, you'll see the majority of the columns are cleaned red brick. That's the
Okay.
goal.
Okay, but you're gonna clean them and leave them the original brick showing, right? Okay.
Yeah, that's the goal. I thought that was in the renditions, was showing you the brick columns that I feel.
I understand they're in there, I'm just asking to make sure so it's on the record that they stay that way. And my second question, what windows were ever replaced on that second floor? Because I have no recollection of any of those windows being replaced.
That predated me. I just know that some of the windows are in absolutely fine condition. They don't need replaced.
Okay, I just want to make sure when they're replaced like on wood windows. Because I've been on this board 16 years and I know of no times these particular windows, any of these came to be changed, so.
They'll be wood clad in vinyl.
We need to
We can't argue
discuss
with that
that.
because we have other historic structures in town that have replaced old windows with vinyl windows. Like with the Taylor Bank, for example.
Yeah, they're wood windows clad at the Taylor Bank.
So they will look exactly like what they don't take down, is that correct?
Are they going to cover them with that?
Yeah, if you don't have muttons in them either, you don't have the grills.
No, they
That's
don't.
often the one that's hardest to duplicate with an old window.
It's just a 1/1
Right.
two-pane window. I mean, that's easy to replace, it should look the same.
They're doing the black
It's not gonna
steel.
change
This
the,
would be a
look
very
much at all.
contemporary, but work in a very structured look.
Carl, do you have any more
This
questions? You-
I have
No,
one.
Samantha, I just want to say that I'm very happy that you maintain the architectural structure of the whole area.
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate that.
And that's why we removed the awning first, was so that we could make sure that if there was anything under there, we could, as similar as possible,
Well, which makes
stick to
sense.
what you're looking for.
Yeah, no, thank you for that.
I have a question, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be rude about that, I just thought Carol could help me this or that. I'm looking at this picture here, it says 7 North Main Street. There's a look today that's very popular with windows, it's just used a lot in historic homes, and it's like steel, it's black. You go and you see the windows and they're black grids and they're none of the white or the other color. It's a color because black, your eye disappears. On this picture, if that's what it is, that looks terrific on those former display windows on the front of the store. It's such a contrast when you look at the one that says 7 Main Street right here.
That's the one with the gray on gray.
It's,
Pretty much, it's really hard to see
it's just,
that. I
mine
think
has
so,
written,
yeah.
someone's written 7 North Main Street
Okay,
on the
that's this
sidewalk,
one.
yes, that one.
It's
yeah.
the Powell Building.
Yeah, those windows look terrific, where that black is used there as a divider, and when you look to a couple others where it's white, or stainless, I'm saying white, excuse me.
What it is
Stainless,
now,
when you
yeah.
look at this, it's a totally different look. This is so terrific looking, either if it's the black there, it, again, with your eye, your window, you go in, I'm looking at the difference in the black, like the steel you'll see, compared to stainless look, or whatever the correct term is. You're my window man, David. What's the cor-
Are the main floor windows going to be replaced?
We were going to repair the glass if at all possible. So we
So
have,
that's no,
we have-
you're not going to be putting in new black windows.
Well, I'm
No, it's not the way, it's a frame, it's a framing.
whatever the correct
It's a
term, David, is in the
framing,
window
not the
industry.
windows.
When you have a large window like that in the window industry, I mean, I know it's not a grill particularly, but it is a window look today of using
Yeah,
that black.
but the stainless look, if there's nothing wrong with them, what I'm hearing is
You
they're
don't
not going to change,
the frame
correct?
if you're not changing the window.
Right, okay.
If
Can
there's
you
no
put
need-
AZAC over that? Aesthetically
You can always
speaking?
paint it.
It could be
Yeah.
painted.
You can always paint
It
it.
can be painted.
Oh,
See, I
sure.
don't paint, so I mean, as far as.
Yeah, the metal, you just have to roughen up
Okay,
like
that would
Henry
be
Clark or
certainly
something,
a
and some paint on it, you'd be fine.
A black to make it disappear.
I mean, I wasn't under the impression that you were going to be changing out all those big plate glass windows, correct?
Well, I'm sure she wasn't. My question was really about the structure of windows. That is not my expertise, and I don't expound on things I really know nothing about. So I'm looking at 17 and 19 North Main Street compared to the one that says 7 and thinking, wow, it looks so much better to have those windows, the frame just disappear.
Disappear,
Just
right.
my personal thought on it.
Yeah.
yeah, we're not sure about replacement at this
Not
time, but if we
replacing
do
them,
replace them,
just-
we could use the black.
Yeah, and so the
Absolutely.
color, or just paint it with the black. It will pull it away and take away that sort of 1940s, 50s, just making do for the moment look. You know, it's a totally different, really upscale look, I think. It will make a big difference to the windows.
So are any of these windows cracked now, the downstairs windows? Are they, did you say there
A
was
few.
one? Okay, and so you will have to replace that glass of that?
We haven't had it assessed at this time to
Okay.
figure out if the glass can be replaced or if the entire frame needs to be replaced,
Right.
because we weren't quite sure we need to see what we're going to be approved to do so that we can move forward with the estimating process and get some, the general contractors out to look at it and tell us what can and can't be done.
Well, you said you were gonna repair the glass, but if the windows where the glass is broken, you're gonna put new glass in, right? Okay.
There will be no broken glass when we're done.
If they can repair, if they could, say, Go Glass or a glass company can come in and replace the window itself, not replace the sash, you would probably go
Yeah,
that
well,
way.
that's fine.
If the entire thing had to be removed, then you would have to go that way. I think that's what she's saying there.
Well,
With
then,
the-
when we vote, we can just vote that when it's assessed, if the whole thing has to come out, then that's fine, or if it's just glass, but then, you know, I think either one's fine, if it's, they're not gonna know till they take it out to see how, if there's rot under there, right?
Right.
So Samantha, with these windows, when we vote, if we put in the motion that when the glass is, if there's an issue and you have to replace the frame, then we can have that all in the motion, and that way, either one, if everything's fine and they just need to do the glass, we're okay. Is that, would that be easier than you wouldn't have to come back?
That would be wonderful.
John, do you have any?
The only thing I'd say, I think it's fantastic, you're restoring these buildings and you're preserving the architectural details of the building. As far as the colors go, I understand the individuality. If you want one to look different than the other, I understand all that. I just think it's great that you're preserving these buildings.
I know somebody that's Elizabeth, the Atlantic Hotel upstairs, is gonna be thrilled the pals stand.
Maybe it should say Burbage. Paint it, bring it up to this century.
I think that everything looks good, but I think that we should readdress the paint is really the only problem, not problem, but issue that we should work out. I think even if you were going to have different colors, the palettes should coordinate a little more. Or, I mean, like I do like the gray on gray, like I would like it if it was all the same. And then the stores can add their own individuality and signs or whatever.
The gray on gray won in the straw poll at my office.
It did, it's pretty.
Everybody loved the gray on gray. The middle building, we could not get a consensus. I had 5 different renderings up there. But the gray on gray was consistently, everyone liked the gray on gray. They thought it was subtle, but offered a nice change,
Yeah.
a fresh look. And then, and again, that would be as close to historic grays as we,
And
colors.
then what color would the metal roof be?
That we were, wanted to get your opinion.
Is that the side? So it's
Black,
oh,
black or white, or like, I called Mr. Parker and I said, Mr. Parker, what color was yours when it started? Was it black and it faded to charcoal, or was it charcoal when it started? And the man honestly could not remember. It looks to me like charcoal, but I gotta tell you, I've driven up and down Main Street trying to tell, and when you're on Main Street, you can't tell what anybody's top color is. You can only see them if you're in the, above them. So, I thought the black was a nice color, but we have no problem with the white. We were going to ask what your
black
opinions
over
were.
white any day.
I think
So what?
Troy Purnell was the last one that had one done for his place, a couple years ago. He
Yeah.
had his done, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
Well, black also, if you were to go with like the two gray colors, the
Only.
black is enough of a contrast. But, if you're going with like the lighter colors at the bottom, I think it's nice to have the black as an
It
accent.
grounds everything.
The only reason I thought you might like the white is because the trim up on the second level is all white. So that was the only reason I thought you might side to white, so I wanted to offer it as an option to you. I prefer the black,
The only other
but
benefit too, it reflects the heat, so you don't get, in the summertime, you might get hot underneath the
Somebody
awning.
was green over there.
I think the darker color
I
is
mean,
more
I'd rather have
appropriate,
dark
what's up and down.
Yeah, the darker.
yeah, I agree based on what I've seen around town, is the darker colors seem to be what the majority of them were. So, I mean,
And what-
Viking Tree is dark blue. The one I'm not really sure of is the corner of Pitts in Maine, I'm not quite sure what color that one is. Above the tea room is a dark green, and above the Dreamweaver seems to be a dark red.
Yeah. Like a brick color, yeah.
And the underneath of it is the same color.
White.
It is white.
Yeah, which the majority of
Is that
them.
the black? That's the black.
This is a black, you know, it would just, it's gonna depend on which manufacturer we end up going with, but we would pick a standard black. That would be the choice, whatever one, there's like a brick color.
I said the vents might look nice painted a brick color, should they fade in? Or is that an art, you know, the vents?
They're currently a light color, and I know you ask me typically to keep as close to what's there, and so since they're already a light color, I thought you would want a light color, but we're open to
Like a LED
suggestion.
screen, is that what we're talking
No,
about?
I was saying the vents might be good, just painted the brick
Yeah,
color.
let
of
them
them.
disappear.
So they
disappear.
just disappear in the
Yeah,
back.
that's a good
I
idea.
didn't know if you'd consider them an architectural detail and wanted them to stand out, so.
No.
Curious, are they there for airflow because you're on the second floor?
Yeah.
They're for the kitchens.
I beg your pardon?
They're for the kitchens.
Oh, they're kitchen vents. Oh, okay.
Maybe
So-
we
Because
can
the
have
plumbing
those-
stack vent goes through the roof, so they're
Okay.
for the kitchens.
All right.
On the other
Okay.
buildings,
I
they're
think black would be
brick
the way to
colored.
go, just disappear.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Samantha, on the other buildings, they're brick colored, so why not?
Which building?
The other two buildings, the vents, they're brick colored.
That's actually
That's-
just
that's-
really bad plywood. That's not a color. Sorry.
Plywood? That's plywood?
Yeah. That's plywood.
Change that too.
Yeah, that will be AZAC as well. I mean, that won't be wood going back.
You don't have any to color the brick then, like blend in, or?
If you would like me to do that, I have no horse in this race. I don't care what color the vents are. Again, I thought they were an architectural detail and you would ask me to have them stand out.
I let Mary and Laura are really good with colors, so I let them do all that.
Yeah, I like
As far as the architectural structure, that's all I
And
can.
I don't know, those vents weren't there they haven't been there forever.
No.
I mean, they're just, if they're kitchen vents,
They're not original equipment. no.
That's what I thought.
So, yeah, then make them fade away.
Either way.
Is there any more questions, anybody?
I'd like to see the great question.
Carol,
Do you have any more
You
questions?
have any more questions for Samantha?
The, above, where where you took, where you took the awning off, like right above the original brick, there's some of it's like missing and stuff. You're gonna have all that just fixed before you put up a new awning, right?
Oh, yes, anywhere
Yeah.
that it will repoint
Yeah.
and clean the brick to the best of the ability and, just kind of get it looking fresher
But
with whatever techniques that the mason suggests we can use
I was
once we talk to them.
surprised honestly when that came off that there was very little, in my mind, deterioration or missing or whatever, so.
We were thrilled as well.
Yeah, it was, that's good, okay. I guess what we ought to do is like to do before write everything down.
And
The way
anywhere the
it
brick
is,
is
leave it.
something we can't fix, we're gonna make sure the trim covers it, so it won't show poorly. Like, we'll put the trim, it maybe up an extra couple inches or something, just to cover that row of bricks, if there is a row of bricks that has some damage that is non-repairable, so you won't see any damage.
Exciting, it's very exciting, it's gonna look very nice. So, if we want to get into a motion, if anyone would like to make a motion, then,
It's a big motion.
You wanna write everything down first like we did before?
if someone would like to compile their motion, how we're going to accept it, so. You gonna write?
I can, if somebody tells me, I'll write it.
We've discussed many different things, so. Robert, you have, you're good as long as the structure stays the same.
Yeah, I'm just happy that the structure is remaining, I mean, the architectural design of the building is remaining. That's my primary concern. Like I said earlier, I'm happy that Laura and Mary are really good with colors. And they'll work with Samantha, I guess, working it out.
Why don't we start here and just get in, these are the painted, replace him,
All right,
wouldn't that be easy?
yep.
All right, I'll write.
All right, so, starting at the top with the vents. It sounds like, that we were talking about
She said,
painting them to make them disappear, so to do them
Right.
as a brick color.
yeah, did you
So
say
you-
you needed to replace those, Samantha, those three?
The-
Okay, so
They're gonna
replace
be-
the paint.
She said they're gonna be AZAC.
Yeah, okay, that's perfect, all right, let me put that down.
So it's basically windows and vents, Noreen, is we're just looking at the vents and the windows and then the awning, such as Jay Parker.
All right, so the windows,
Second story windows,
second story,
second and third story, actually. right?
yeah.
No, there's only two in our buildings, Mr. Parker.
Oh, right, okay, okay.
Okay, second
Sorry.
story, if they need to be replaced, they will be, Dave was,
They will be like kind
Like,
to,
okay.
like kind to existing.
okay. Right, okay, got it. All right, number 3, would be this right in here.
Cornice.
Well, right in here, if, she said if any of this,
If new windows is needed
Needed.
on the second floor to match
So
other.
you're
Yeah,
talking
we got
about-
that.
You're talking about replacement of any rot above
Uh-huh.
the awning.
if there was, when the brick mason comes, you know, if there's anything, she said the trim would be up a little higher. We want that in there, or just, are we okay?
Can you read back what you said about the windows for me?
Yes, second floor windows, if required, if there, like if there's a one that you feel has to come out. Second floor windows, if needed to be replaced, will be like kind
Match your existing windows.
to existing windows.
And by that, just for clarity from my point, we have 5 windows, 3 windows, 3 windows. Like kind to the 8 windows that don't need replaced? Is that what we mean? Like, so that they're all like kind, that's what we mean,
Well,
right?
here it says
Yes.
new windows
Okay.
as needed, yeah. Be
Yeah,
on
so
the
it's
second
like kind so
floor.
that the whole building looks very, okay. I just want to make sure I understood that correctly.
Yeah, and Dave said the vinyl, wood, what everybody's using right now.
Wood window that's clad in vinyl.
Yeah, okay, all right, let me go put that on. All right, and then I guess the awning, is that,
The awning.
okay.
Like Mr. Parker's, it's stated here, new awning like Mr. Parker's building.
So let me just, you were talking about the trim above the awning a minute ago, before we went back to windows.
Oh, yeah,
The picture with the awnings taken down, it's numbered number 3 here. You're talking about that plywood area in there, correct? From the bottom of the second story windows to the top of the first story windows, right?
Right.
Yes.
What are we doing there?
Oh,
yeah.
like, there were 2 different versions. One had like a panel.
Well, that's
And
the
the
point,
other
but
one-
is it gonna be brick or is it gonna be a panel?
Well, it should be, most of it should, I mean, it's the original brick.
I like the brick. I
Yeah,
think the
that-
simpler the better.
That's
Yeah,
why I
the
bring it
brick.
up.
She's showing.
Thanks, Dave. We just,
So we
Well,
can see the brick here.
We were showing it as panel, for the most, if you can go to the renderings where we, yeah, see, we had decorative trim above in this, where you don't like the yellow, version 2. There's wood above the black. I don't know if you can tell in your version.
Yes, it's hard to say. I can't-
Okay, how about you look at the picture of 19 North Main and 17 North Main? Or possibly the version 1 of 13 North
Version
Main and
1.
11 North Main. You can see the black window where the metal, I wish I knew the word, comes from the brick down and holds the metal up, whatever that thing is called.
Anchor.
Brace.
Brace, go with us. There is metal, there is wood behind that, and that's because, as you can see in the pictures Well, if you see plywood, there's not brick behind it. I was very specific with the men when they took it off.
That was gonna be my question, what was behind the plywood?
It needs fixed. It's not a brick surface, because I had them expose the brick, even if it was dirty, everywhere they could. So we could see
So
what,
that's why that piece is over there, because it's covering something. that's
it's covering like gaping hole,
Oh,
if
gotcha.
you will. And so I asked them, I said, please make sure that we see every bit of brick, because that was very important to the historic district, that we get as much brick as possible. I said, so show me as much brick as possible, only plywood over that which is not brick behind it. So for example, if you look at one of the pictures with the trash, you'll see the picture of 11 North Main Street, picture number 3. See how underneath the window,
Yeah.
that's the type of thing you'd be seeing. So we're going to need to clad that with the
Gotcha.
AZAC. Do you see what I'm saying? There's not brick there to expose.
Right.
So if wherever the metal is gonna go, because we're kind of gonna try to anchor it very similar to the height that Mr. Parker has, right? Because we want it consistent along the sidewalk. So depending on where that anchors to the building, above there, we may not have brick to work with.
Yeah.
And that's why we were putting the trim above where the metal is to give it, you know, a finished look. And again, expose as much brick as possible, but put in the AZAC where there is not brick now.
So you're gonna have to fill in or do something in back of that, aren't you?
Yeah.
It's a gaping hole, isn't that weird?
It's like plywood and it's, I didn't see it myself, so I can't be 100%. I saw the ones underneath, because those pictures I took when I was there. And so I saw underneath that there was it's just open, because it had that red stuff on it. You know?
Yeah.
And then above, it had, the awning was thick.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't just a piece of metal like we're going back with. It was thick and came out to a triangle. So actually came out to a rectangle almost. Until I guess the movie people put that metal on top, and then that added a little bit of a slope to it, but it had been pretty much a flat sticking off there, I guess. So, but it wasn't just the skinny metal that Mr. Parker has, it was substantial.
Yeah, well, if they might have put that awning on when they did the maroon cladding or whatever, because maybe that's when that awning went, I don't know. Okay.
So version 1 and version 2, is one just plain AZAC, and then version 2 has the panels?
Actually, the only difference between version 1 and version 2 is the black paint
Around the top.
goes the whole way.
Oh, okay.
And then to kind of give you, as to Mary's point, a consistent flow.
Yes.
And then the other version, each building had its own unique flavor.
Okay.
And the black paint line on the AZAC did not go, because I just wasn't sure, again, I wasn't sure which way you would have me go, whether you liked the idea, because, you know, so many of the stores have an individual look next to one another as you walk down Main Street, if that was what you would prefer,
The way I
right?
see it is that that's all part of the commercial area downstairs. You're not changing the architectural design of the building, so I don't think it matters which way you go.
I think it just made it look more hodgepodgey. That's the best technical term I can think of.
Okay, so number 3 would be the area below the second floor windows above the
Above the
awning.
awning.
Okay, all right, and tell me what to write, please.
How do you guys wanted to write?
And that'll just match whatever you've got below.
Yeah.
That'll look good. It's gonna look amazing. I can't wait, because that's my view out of the other thing.
Okay, so if it's the area below the second story windows above the awning will be you're gonna use the Aztec, right? Across. AZAC, whatever.
Yes.
AZAC, okay.
AZEK.
Okay, I got you. And it'll be painted the black, is that what we're saying?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that's
Okay.
considered.
You mean you want the consistent black trim for all 3 buildings?
But
The
you're-
windows.
You're
Just
showing the
they're holding
panels,
The glass, what's holding the glass up.
you're actually showing the panels the same color as the first floor panel, weren't you?
Yes, they were.
So you're not gonna paint the whole thing black up there.
No, it was just the very
It's
top.
gonna be like
The
that.
top one was gonna be black, and then it's gonna have panels that'll just match the bottom.
Right.
Well, let's, okay, how about we?
You're looking at the one that's like 13 Main, right,
There it is.
North Main?
There it is, go back down, you just had it. This right here,
Or version 1 shows.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna say as shown in
Right, Sam?
version number 1, page 13.
Sam, like this?
Is that right, Dave? Page?
the one,
I believe that's the one. yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
yeah, the one that's on the screen.
It says version 1.
Yeah.
Designs, that's what we're talking about?
How it had a consistent black line across the top.
Right.
And then,
But I mean,
but
it's
then
really,
the panels will
but it's
match.
not all black. They're
No,
saying
no,
paint
the
it black.
panels
And I'm
will
like,
match.
no, you're not gonna paint it all black.
Okay.
No, but I'm
Paint
saying.
some of it
it should all
black,
be
right?
consistent. It should be consistent.
We're just trying to keep it straight for the,
Did I leave that to you?
That's what I'm telling you.
And we're happy to allow Laura and Mary, since they have such input on the colors, to help decide what the final colors should be. Because we absolutely agree that you guys have done a great job. So if you want to help us with that and just take these renditions and possibly just look at what you know.
Okay, and then the awning will be like, JE's, okay.
now we normally, we don't normally pick colors for that.
But we
right?
are supposed to suggest, by going to great detail.
Understood.
with
So
that.
I think what I'm hearing tonight, and I'm not trying to get in the middle of this, but I think we have, instead of worrying about necessarily the color, the specific, Pacific gold or Aztec gold, whatever, do you want them to be, I've heard it from at least Laura, that she'd rather see, in her case, the gray, all the way down, all 4 locations? Or do you want it, like Sam was proposing, she's got some gold and some navy, and then she's got black and gold, and then she's got, I don't know.
It's a beige on beige,
A
actually.
beige on beige, and then she's got a gray on a gray. Do you think that's better, or do you think it's better that it's one of those colors all the way?
Dave,
So-
you weren't here, but the thing comes to mind, the only thing we don't want is Ned's Bargain Fair, which Jack would remember, and when you all, what a great difference this is going to be from 1917 North Main Street, and it's going to be great. I don't question it for a moment, what you all are going to do. We just have suggestions, and hopefully that some things might ring a bell, but that's what's problem. Every time I saw the 17 and 15 North Main, and then North 19 and 17, and number 3 up here, yeah. That's the exact thing that I wouldn't want to see as a hodgepodge look, as the words Laura used, or anything reminiscent, that it wasn't really thought out in a professional way. It was just like, oh, I'm going to paint it this color. And some places do look like, oh, let's just do it this way. And that's what we're hopeful for. It's just to give it that continue.
We have to remember something. Laura makes a good point though, too. All right, you have 3 buildings. The architectural design of each one is slightly different, which is fine.
True.
But making the whole awning, because you're gonna have different companies down there, different stores. Each store is gonna decorate their storefronts differently, and that's gonna give the nice variety. All right, and if you're gonna have that, and then have different color awnings or different design awnings, I think that's gonna be, it's gonna get too cluttered.
Yeah,
I think it's best if you have, like what you said, the gray on gray straight through.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then each store just decorates their storefronts any way they want. And that would give, we're talking about window designs, what they put in their windows.
The
Well,
draws
look,
people
look
in.
what happened with the backside. I think that you came with us with one thing, and we thought another thing, and then somehow we arrived between everybody.
Opinions.
It turned out to be something that I think is going to be really, really attractive. And it wasn't anybody saying, I think it should be, you know what I mean? It was, the give and take brought something that was, I think, better than anything, you know what I mean? But I do like the consistency of idea.
Yeah.
So still sticking with.
Okay, we're on number 4 is the awning. It'll be like J.E. Parker's
Let me
building.
ask
Okay,
you
go ahead,
one
yes.
thing real quick.
Uh-huh.
I know that in this rendering, it's showing the raised panel at the top, and it's showing a flat board. How are you guys want that to continue, or does that matter to you? Are you okay with the
Right
raised
here, Mary.
panel?
See, that's flat, and then that's raised. Well, if you
Are
want.
you okay with the way she has it there, and then everything's painted?
I don't think it matters to me.
I don't
Okay.
think that
I
matters.
just want to
but
make
the-
sure that we
the
have
awnings-
this in the,
the awning's gonna go all the way across, I don't think that makes any difference. If it's there and it just needs to be like painted or whatever, I would make them change it.
Okay.
Do you think?
I just want to make sure that we have this in our motion
Yeah,
to
okay.
how we're going to go with it. And if everybody's okay with what that is, and then as we get into the paint.
It's hard to tell what it's gonna
Okay.
look like by this little drawing, you know what I mean? It's hard to make that call, but I think it would be fine either way.
I have to say, I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about.
Okay, look at number 13, version 1, number 13, right below the second floor windows.
Version 1,
Version 1.
13,
North,
I
you
just
had
had on
it
there.
here.
That
Okay,
one.
whoa, go back, go
Back
back.
down again,
Go
down.
back.
Right there.
No, go back.
Now go down to the picture of the whole building, the whole project.
Right there,
you go,
right there.
Right there. So above that awning there, Samantha, the two of them are showing like a flat board with molding at the top. I'm assuming that's in the black. And then the middle one is that raised panel. So I guess we're.
oh, this was just a two-tone paint color, it wasn't necessarily to.
I'm just showing an option. Look,
Oh,
Okay.
so all the way across is gonna be identical, okay,
Okay.
We just thought it was two different woods.
Yeah, I thought it was.
So not a raised panel there,
Mhm, right, okay.
right?
just the classic
Correct.
awning.
Right, I'm gonna write that down.
Unless that's your choice, which are you, I'm just trying to clarify.
Oh, I think I know what you mean.
It's that piece that goes above.
It had the boxes where the
Yeah.
other two
Yes.
don't have boxes.
Right.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
All right, yes.
Okay, how
Do
would
you
you
like
prefer
boxes
it?
or no boxes?
That's what I was asking. How do you guys
How do you prefer it?
Which,
I like
which,
the awning, just a plain awning.
With no
You're-
boxes above it. No panels. See, it's like
Right.
But we're gonna have the paneling down at the
I think
bottom.
they're-
Right, it gets to be a bit much, if you
I
have
have no
panel,
problem with
panel,
the
panel,
awning,
it
yeah.
gets to be a
Just
bit
the
much.
awning and then do the panels on the ground.
So one solid board,
Yes.
and no boxes
Yeah,
above.
like a breeze board.
All three.
maybe.
All three buildings, one solid board
Yeah.
with the top painted black.
Yeah.
Got it.
That would be consistent with the awning, I think it would look good.
I mean, and the board doesn't
Okay.
have to be plain, it could have like, you know, a piece of crown molding across it or something. I mean, I'm just saying it doesn't have to be plain, but it doesn't, I don't think we need the paneling.
Yeah,
I'm
if
just
we're gonna
fine
have it
with
down
awning.
at the bottom, yeah.
Just
Okay.
awning, just fine, just the old fashioned awning. going
Yeah,
down.
but they've gotta have something
They
that
gotta
they're
cover
back of
the
the whole,
holes.
you
Oh,
know.
I understand. I agree with that. I
Yeah.
thought, I was doing this piece in the front, that confused me. Gotcha.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, the black and then the awning, that's fine.
Okay,
And this
great.
will disappear.
Okay, so then you're at the awning, we got the awning.
No, wait a minute, I've got it that it will be just like J.E.'s and it will be the black. Is that what we decided, right?
Here.
Yes.
This was just the black, this
Yeah,
it
that's
just
what it was.
disappears.
And then number 5, I guess we're getting to the window, you want to do the windows on that, if,
There's a treatment above the windows, so that is definitely appearing from the division, version 1.
okay,
That's
yes.
the raised panel.
Right, Mary, see, John, right in here is where Nornie is, right here.
So
Either
that's
plain or
directly
what.
underneath the awning. That would be a raised panel. And that's
What, it's
through
only,
all,
it's,
that's on
yeah.
all of them.
Okay, oh,
You just can't see.
oh, I can't, oh, I see, yeah, okay.
That's consistent all the way across all the buildings.
I tried, that's why I didn't do just the one rendering, because I thought you couldn't tell what each building looked like, so I was
This,
trying.
right here, all the way across.
All the way
It's so
across.
dark you can't see it, but it is here. So she's gonna do that all the way and then do this down here.
So the colors will be similar, I'm assuming they'll be in sync.
So,
So that
So
raised
energy-
panel is gonna be above and below the first floor, the
Window.
ground floor windows.
mhm. Is everybody okay with that?
Yep.
And broken up by the apartment doors there, is that what I'm looking at?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the brick columns.
Yes, the brick columns will go all the way, as high as they can go.
As long as the brick's cleaned up, not painted.
We will do our best to clean it as well as possible.
It's generating so much excitement in town. I can't tell you how many people are asking, do I know what stores are going in there?
Tell me about it.
I'm like,
Okay,
it's
and
the
then,
talk.
Do we know that?
Lots of people have been calling me too.
now
Can
the
I
big,
put this
the
in
big
there?
one
Yeah.
is, we were gonna put that if, when they found that when the glass was being replaced, if there needed to be, like the frame was rotted or whatever, they could just do that, or if they take the glass out and everything's fine, they just put new glass in. Is everybody
Not
okay with
replace-
that?
Yeah, but not replacing the frame. If not-
There's no
If-
need,
if To fix a window, they're gonna have to do something to it.
Right.
It's got a crack in it, so everybody's okay with replacing the window.
The
As
glass,
the windows are,
Yeah.
replacing the glass.
They're redoing this whole building. I don't think they're gonna make it look,
yeah, but there's no need for them to go to the expense of
That's what I mean.
replacing everything if the frame is not got a problem. So we'll just put either or. Is that okay with everybody?
Either or is fine.
Okay, all right.
And under the windows, we're down to the raised panel below the windows as well as what was on the top. So-
I've got that number 5.
Okay.
Okay, I've got both. I just thought it would,
And you did have about the brick columns too, so
Yes,
we hit
uh-huh.
everything. What else? She asked me here.
is there anything else we may have missed, Samantha?
not that I'm aware of.
I don't think so either.
I think we hit that in the, I think that was number 1 when we started.
what about the doors? What will they be? Just the same?
Oh, yeah.
They're the same, like, just out of curiosity.
Again, it's gonna see if we
Yeah, yeah.
need to
If it
replace
needs it.
them. And, we would do something very similar. There's still gonna be a glass commercial door, like the doors that are there. They're gonna be very similar to the doors that are there, with the majority of it being clear glass.
You probably need something like that.
That's by
To
code.
lock, you know.
That's for code.
Yeah.
They gotta have that commercial door. It's tempered glass, you can't shove your hand through it.
Yeah, I
It's
think
gonna
it's, yeah,
get
oh,
cut.
absolutely, yeah.
The one door that I can tell you is gonna need replaced is the door to 13 North Main. That door does need replaced, and I was just simply, again, going with a full light, but I was gonna paint it black to go with the roof.
That's
Just-
fine.
And that's the apartment, and we're kind of making that kind of fade in, if
Yeah.
you will.
Black
Just
and
very
white.
subtle,
Yeah.
so that entrance doesn't really, you can see it on version 1 where the beige on beige coloring. Just, again, just a simple glass door. It is now, but it's just, I believe that door will be replaced.
So that's number 13. Is that what you said?
Yeah, it's 13 North Main.
Okay, well, I'll just put it in here, number 13, door replace. Okay. Anything else?
Have you missed anything else? Is there anything else you're gonna be?
Well, I just to review what she came for, that's what I was just looking at. That answers,
Yeah.
that's just a quick review for you. I think it'll pick up, I think you've got it all, but
Can we, again, will Mary and Laura help us decide what colors they feel like they want to use?
And you know who I would also like to consult is Dottie.
No, I'm, yeah,
Because
I'm gonna put that right here.
Dottie
Laura.
Okay, she always talks about the colors, of the building, you know what I mean? I just like to see what she says. She's,
well, just get a resident of the town,
Yeah,
what
she's
she's
been-
put our
she's
2 cents in, or they have
Yeah.
a flow
I've seen it.
feeling.
Buddy's sister,
But Dorothea,
get
yeah.
Dorothy,
Yeah.
she's the one about the town.
that's who I'm talking about.
Yeah, she could walk across or even stand on the porch. Yeah, I think we should.
Because she complains about the colors all the time.
Well, it's nice to think that we've
And
got
she
a
has good
resident.
taste, and she's 92-year-old original resident of the town.
Yeah.
Just to see, what do you think would look nice?
I'm sorry,
Dottie.
Buddy Jenkins' sister,
Dottie.
Dorothy, and lives in the hotel now, that's her residence now in the hotel.
Dorothy Ann,
Rolfe, R-O-L-F-E.
It's nice to give a resident, feel like they have some input of what they live there and what their personal thing is too. Just feel like we're.
Just would like to see what you say.
Yeah, that's no problem.
Okay, but can I just verify that you're gonna give us all that, and then, once we paint it, we've
good.
painted it?
Yep, done.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, you guys, do you want to make it in a form of a motion? Do you want to clarify first?
You want me to read everything first? Or do you want me to just do it as a motion with?
Guys, what do you want to hear what,
Sure.
go back
Well, I
first, go ahead.
think I think she'd like to hear.
Okay, yeah, all right, all right.
And then we can put it in a form of a motion.
All right. Item number 1, the vents will be replaced with, how do you say it, David?
ASAP.
AZAC, and painted the brick color, okay? Number 2, any window on the second floor that needs to be replaced will be replaced like kind to existing wood clad in vinyl. Number 3, the second story windows above the awning will have the AZEK panel, and it'll be painted as shown in version 1, page number 13. There will be no raised panels, it will be straight panels across. Number 4, the awning across the entire front will be made exactly like next door at Mr. Parker's store, and it will be painted black. Number 5, below the awning and across the very bottom of the front will be the panels as shown in version 1.
Raised panel.
Raised panels, and they'll go across all the way. Number 6, the brick columns will be cleaned as best can and no paint will be applied. Number 7, the very large windows in the first floor stores that need to have the glass replaced can either be replaced with the frame being okay, but if the contractor finds that the frame needs to come out, we approve that also, as long as they look the same as what's there. And the last, number 8, number 13 North Main, the apartment door will be replaced per code, and it will be painted black. And the last one, I guess, if we want to say, Laura and Mary will work with the applicant on paint colors. So it's there if anybody has
I
questions.
think the only other thing we missed with, like, you know, that the panels would be as shown.
I can put that, I can get right back
I
to
think
it.
didn't you say
Why were
that
they
in
placed as?
version 1?
No, that was something else I said in version 1,
Dave, while she's looking, were these buildings, were they all built at the same time or within a few years? Do you know?
They were built within 20 years.
I think the roof line sort of, such a flow.
They were built at different times.
So one wasn't built one year and one building the next year, particularly within a flow?
after that, I think it was the second fires when they were rebuilt.
Oh, okay.
Because we had
All right, so
thread.
They weren't built individually by different owners, came in and said, this is my building here. Okay, because the flow is so nice, that's what I was.
Okay, I hear it as panels below below the awning, and then across the bottom will be raised panels. And what else did you want? Painted alike, is that what you wanted on there, Laura?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to make sure Carolyn's able to get all this. Of course, it'll be in the, is there anything else?
Anything to add to it?
Did I miss anything?
Were you okay when they read that about the door being painted black?
She's the one that said that.
Okay.
Yeah, the one door.
Yeah, when she said she had.
And it'll either be painted black or we'll buy it black. I mean, the end result will be a black door. Because we just want that to kind of fade into the
I
light.
think it's a good idea, yeah. You won't even notice when you will buy this.
A lot of people don't now,
They
don't, because it was all red.
Is everyone fine with the way she wrote it? So
We can put it in the motion.
instead of reading it again, we can make, now that we know what it is, Carolyn, you have it.
But we're gonna need the written version.
Was someone want to make it in the form of a motion?
I'll make a motion
Bob's good
to
at that.
accept case 3-2-22-3, based on all the stipulations that Carol has mentioned. And she will have a printout, I guess, to give to everyone and the planning director.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Second by Mary. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Could I ask that I get a copy this time?
Sure.
I have your email, I'll type it up and
We'll get one.
email it to everybody.
Please, thank you.
My handwriting's not too good, Carol.
That's all right.
I'll do it when I get home.
As long as we got it together.
Is there anything else?
Here, we do this.
A lot of work,
Thank you.
Samantha, getting there. A lot of work.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Can we use the color wheel?
Oh, you want to use it?
Can we use it? The color wheel? Or
I
is
have
that-
one at home.
Oh, you do?
I
I
have
didn't
one
know if
at
that
home
was
you
just
can
historic
have.
colors.
Yeah, these are Sherwin-Williams colors.
Oh, okay.
I would if I didn't have another project marked
Oh, yeah,
also.
no worries.
I'm so sorry.
I've got one at home,
Oh,
just like
thank you.
that, you can have it.
Okay.
They left it.
I was just looking for the historic ones.
I think they're in the.
You
are
can,
they-
if you go to Sherwin-Williams website, you can pick that, the historic deck and look
Oh.
right there.
Okay.
Yeah, because I color buildings all the time.
Well, Jack, it's a lot of work, but it is the biggest continual building in town.
It's big.
It's gonna be
It's
beautiful.
big, but
Yeah.
I will tell you, Samantha's worked hard on this. and
Oh,
You really
well,
have.
yeah,
There's a lot of
wonderful
work.
packet,
The
yeah.
only thing I'd like to say to you all that I seem to think that you contradict yourself in the other in saying that this is gonna be black and the trim on the top's gonna be black, and then you say leave all the colors to the four girls. And to me, that's contradicting each other because
We can start over again,
I
Jack.
was just, you were saying like the top board above the awning will be painted black, and this door will be painted black, and this other, and then you say, we're leaving all the color decisions to the four girls.
You don't have to
that
do that.
sounds like contradicting to me.
It's about you and me.
To me,
We don't have to be, you.
no,
you
but
can-
I think it's a good thing. I
Yeah.
don't think it's right to now to decide what colors should be there, since, and I say this respectfully, you're an advisory committee to the
Yes.
colors. But I think that you get it all up, get it all
Then
done,
see it.
get it ready to paint, and then get you four girls, you, Laura,
Yeah.
Sam, and the Mrs.,
Dorothy Ann, yeah.
Dorothy
Oh,
Ann
okay.
together, and go have lunch and sit down and decide what it should be
That's a
painted.
And that's what I said originally, just wait and see what it's all together, all the work
I
is done,
think
then
that's
it's like.
better than trying to
Oh,
say
I
paint
agree.
this
That's
black
what
or
I'm saying
paint this
originally.
this. I think,
Well, you can't,
I
those
just
are the
suggest it.
details, that's like the architectural details,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
getting a suit.
Just
or
get it
going
up,
belt
you know,
and
I
shoes
think
I wanna wear.
it's very important that you get it built the way you want it.
Absolutely.
Yes,
And
that's
then
what
let
I
the
said
girls
originally.
decide what colors, all of you decide what
Yes.
colors it should be.
I want Samantha to be involved.
Instead of dictating, say paint this black or paint this.
Oh, no,
whatever.
I
No,
want
we were just
Samantha.
talking on the architect, on the building
That was
part
just-
of where it connected.
Just
I
a
was-
suggestion.
you know.
I agree.
Maybe I misunderstood.
There's a lot of conversation going on in here.
There was
so
a lot,
If
but-
you could follow all of it. you're-
But really, I think she's worked really hard, and it is a nightmare. And one thing you wanted to know why, I think one of you asked why it was empty, no brick. That's because they indented the awning when they built it. It was steel, and they took the brick out and set
Inserted the steel
the
support.
awning inside the wall inside the brick. And that's why you see where the boards are. Now, it doesn't go that high, of course, but that's why it's missing, brick is
Compromise the
missing.
bricks.
They dug it all out
Yeah.
and set the frame in there.
Right,
Because that was all steel, flat roof, if you recall.
and compromised, yeah.
So that's why it was empty. So, anyway, I just want to thank you all for all the
Thank you
hard
very
work.
much.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Samantha, thank you for coming.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Samantha.
All right, so, all right, we have comments from public. Do we have any public here? We have
Chased them all
comments.
away,
Thank you, Jack.
chased them all away.
Thank you again.
Thanks,
Thank
Deborah.
you.
Charlene, do you have any comment?
I'm good, thank you.
A lot of conversation.
We're glad to see you in person.
I know, I hardly recognize everyone.
Comments from the chairman. I appreciate the nomination and, or appointment, however that is put. I'll do my best.
Yes, you will.
But everyone is going to stay very active. If I am the chairman, which I am, if I have to meet with someone, one of you will be going with me. And it won't be the same person every time.
I think from all and we're really at a good place right now, I think, and I've been on just months before Carol, when I came aboard the Historic District, and I sit here today with the different chairs and different people that have been here. I think we have a wonderful commission right now. I think each one of us brings something very special, and I think you do a great job. You're the best we've had here, evidently like that. That's great. I think we all bring something to the table that's, and from different aspects, which I think is great, and I'm really very proud to work with you all. It's great. And I want to know from all of what's coming on in town. What's our new news so we can be in the loop? Any new businesses coming in?
Can you sit, she
Oh, I
can't
can.
sit.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Good
Oh, you
God.
put me on the spot.
Good God, I'm ready to go home. with
There's a
the
lot
rest
of new
the
businesses coming in. We're just waiting for those buildings to be completed, and then there's a wait list. So, not only is Samantha dealing with this, but she's also dealing with a variety of people that want to get into those buildings,
That's
and
a good problem to have.
it's a very good problem to
Is there a
have.
sushi restaurant coming to town? My children were
There's
having
one
one.
here.
There's a sushi, there's one here already. It has new ownership, by the way. So
Which
the
one's
old
that?
owner
Right
is
here,
gone.
The fish market right here on Pitt Street.
Oh, that
The
is.
Rusty
that's a
Anchor,
sushi
so-
restaurant?
There's another.
It's not a
So
restaurant.
it's a,
I didn't know that.
Has there
yeah,
been
the new, the old owner is out, and then the new owner is in.
What's it, Rusty Anchor?
Who's the new owner, can you say, or?
It's what?
I don't know, actually. I haven't met him yet.
So what I thought
Are
was
they
the fish
keeping the
market is
same
really a
name?
Well, then it
restaurant.
turned into.
They're
a
keep the
sushi.
same, it's the same name.
Tables and chairs.
Oh, that's.
It's a restaurant to me.
Are there tables and chairs in there, Ivy?
There's 2 tables in there.
Yeah, but it's
It's
really
more for
not.
carry-out.
It's mostly for carry.
Oh,
It
okay,
is
that's what I'm
here,
saying.
It's not, it wasn't designed to be
It
a,
was supposed to be, originally it was supposed to be a fish
Like a
market
seafood
with a
market.
little bit, with
Yeah.
maybe a sushi on the weekends, but then the desire for sushi became overwhelming, and so he decided to turn it into a completely just sushi restaurant.
Sushi to
And
go.
then, he was MIA for a while, and then let's just say he's out and the new guy's in.
I guess my Rehoboth Beach children were talking about, there's one up in Delaware that they understood was coming here, so maybe he's.
That was the one.
Uh-huh,
So he closed, it was Flying Fish.
okay,
So Flying Fish closed,
okay.
and then he opened this.
Okay.
And now Flying Fish is closed, and he's out of this one, but this is still staying the same name.
Oh, well, same name to different owners, got it, okay.
Good.
Different owner, it was a partnership, so the
Oh.
one owner is still there, but the other, half of that partnership,
Okay.
he's out.
Are they already up and running?
They're up and running.
Good to know.
Sushi to go?
There you go.
and by the way, the 2 young people who were here for their sign, that store's open already too.
Yeah.
They just hadn't come before you yet. They had a soft opening, so they're already doing
And they have,
business.
I walked by on one Saturday, they had a lot of people in there, I think they're gonna do well.
Good.
Final's back.
So, everything wasn't take 20 years from the West Coast, they say to come to the East Coast, although they could keep all their problems over there on the West Coast and not have to bring them
I
here.
never got rid of my bell bottoms, I still have,
Yeah.
I still have my records too.
All right, comments from the staff? You guys have anything?
They are, they, Blue Water, for 16 Pitt Street, they've had the engineer assess the building, and we were getting updates. It's been a couple of weeks now, but the engineer has been in contact with myself and Jeff Fleet with the town administrator, and now we've got them working with our town engineers, so they're communicating. And the third party in that is the contractor, Wayland, who's gonna do the work on the building. So we're waiting for their fix, their repair to that front wall of 16 Pitt Street. Then we'll get our engineer to assess that design and that report and get in the building with us. And then we'll let them go ahead and do the work. Whether it's removing the whole wall or repairing the wall or taking brick out and putting up stucco or covering up brick with stucco. We'll have a specific stamp design drawing from their engineer that our engineer can approve. So that's where we're at right now. And hopefully, Sam had sent us an email today, Jeff and I, that they're days away from that. And, you know, they've been checking with them every other day. And GMBs, the engineers, you know, we know them, they're, you know, DBF, our engineer knows them, so we're confident we'll get something out of it before we let them do any more work over there.
All this inspection work that was done recently with that, and this issue that's created, could that have been done even before we had these meetings? Because a lot of the issues that we've had could have possibly been prevented if we knew all about these engineering reports before they came to us.
I'm not sure what you're asking.
Well, there was this whole thing with the brick. We had choices. We could say we could take the brick off and replace it with stucco, we could stucco the brick, or we could just paint the brick. That was basically the three things we all said they could go with.
Sure.
And then when everything was written up, and then there was little contradictions here and there, whatever. But if they came to us before we decided on how we could finish that front wall, wouldn't that have saved a lot of time with making decisions, what to do with that front wall?
They had an engineered plan for the reframing inside that they did. They had the permit for in the summer, this past summer. Didn't mention anything about the front wall. The only way we found out about that front wall was there was a letter from their mason, who, when they asked him to go and look at it, could he save the brick, or did they want to, he was gonna give them a price either way. And that letter, they didn't provide that to me, and that was from the mason, not from an engineer, but he said he wouldn't work on it. So that's when our antenna got up and we said, wait a minute, now you have to, if his opinion is that that front wall can't be saved in brick, and his recommendation was to take the whole wall down. That's when the red flags went up, and that's when we stopped everything.
The whole front wall, the white brick, and the wall behind it too?
Well, without the white brick, he felt the interior brick was not structural enough to hold up that front wall. And it's not holding the second or third floor or the roof line anymore. I mean, that brick is not holding it. It used to be, but all that reframing that was done, again, with an architect stamp plan and the contractor, and passed all its inspections, that's holding up the other part of the building. But the masonry itself is like, if you think of it as a skin, it's actually bowed out on Pitt Street a little bit. So that could be, you know, everybody has in their mind these, like we had this Florida condo collapse, you know, caused by water, and that building, its problems were caused by water before that roof was put on 3 or 4 years ago. It was way too long, it sat getting wet. That's why it has problems and mold problems, and that's why what we looked at tonight all has to be redone. The building hasn't had the maintenance it needed over the last 40, 50 years.
Doesn't surprise me.
So,
Is that why they came in with structural beams saved?
Yes.
It took a long time.
and if you remember, they put those little steel plates on the outside of the building. Well, those steel ties, that's like a rod that goes all the way through the wood framing inside and hooks up on the other side. So it's like pulling in the building to be rigid. you know, and so that's what's supporting it all now.
Okay, wow.
On this side, on the William Street side, you see those little plates, that's what they were. And you see them throughout town, on other buildings too.
Yeah.
Well, thank God they're doing it, because we heard a couple years ago, remember that boat out section?
Yeah.
They thought that was in danger of falling down, you know, on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
So, you know, now it's all gonna be done, we don't have to worry. Thank
You
God.
see- Yeah, and
And it's gonna be pretty.
I just want it to be safe.
Yeah, we don't want to have any
Don't we all?
publicity.
Safe and pretty is okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Don't we all?
with shops.
Carolyn, do you
Don't
have
worry.
anything?
Are there shoes just
I got you, I
Are
got
there
you,
shoes?
Laura.
Yeah.
No shoes.
Do we have any comments, commissioners? Do you guys have anything else to say?
No, congratulations.
I just want to say thank you
Taking
so
over,
much.
giving Phil a break.
Congratulations. Give it all, give it
Well,
all.
I think, Carol, I thank you for all
Everyone's gonna be used.
your years to the chair.
Are you gonna motion for adjournment?
I turned it in. Did you get it?
The
Did
manual,
you get
everybody
one of these
received.
ethics sheets for me?
Drop them off with you as we.
You can give it to me tonight,
Okay.
and I'll give it to Kelsey tomorrow.
I turned mine in at like the,
Hey, Carol gave me one, Robert gave me one.
Here's ours, the two in people up here.
Robert has one thing.
Did everybody receive the dates?
Yes, and thank you again, that is
Yes.
so terrific.
That really is a revision of the first one I gave everybody 3 years ago. I simplified it a little bit, and I just changed a wording a little bit of a couple of paragraphs, which is, it's easier, it makes it easier to read. All right, so I don't think there's really going to be a need to have another workshop because most of us went through it. And if we're okay with that, are we okay with that?
Yeah, very
Did
good.
everybody look through it?
Yeah.
All right.
I know, John, you're getting a lot out of that. 3 years ago when I got it, and we had the work session.
So then I feel like my job is done, right? Okay, I'm going to read this letter. This is a letter I wrote back in December. Actually, it was after I had a meeting with Mary and Laura when we were going through the revisions. I wanted to make sure you all liked it and that we were going to go ahead with it. All right? I tried to call this fellow who was duck hunting every time I called him because I had a couple of conversations with him and Laura beat me to the gun because I was rethinking everything in the last couple of months and I wanted to make the nomination for him and you did ahead of me.
Oh,
All right, so I just want to read this letter I wrote to the mayor, and I actually wrote, I had to redate it because I thought the meeting was going to be in January. I wrote this back in December. Dear Mayor Tyndall, in 2016, Mayor G. Williams invited me to become a member of the Historic District Commission. He felt that with my background that I would bring some insight. I have observed and learned a lot about the history of this town as well as its politics. According to the Historic District Code, Chapter 104-28B, the Commission is given the authority to adopt guidelines. I was volunteered, maybe challenged by Carol and Betty. And however tasked with the opportunity to formulate a manual setting forth guidelines. I guess this was my purpose as a commissioner. With the help of Mr. Dave Engelhardt, it was completed, and I thank Dave for his assistance. The commission has had guidelines manual now for the last 3 years. It was surely a unique project, and it was desperately needed as the town is continuing to evolve, especially to educate our newcomers and also to re-educate those who are forgetting its history. These guidelines will aid any member on this commission to formulate their objective opinion. With that being said, I do not feel there is any purpose for me to remain on this commission. Again, I thank former Mayor G. Williams for giving me this opportunity to serve our community. As of the closing of today's meeting, I'm stepping down from the Historic District Commission.
you sure you want to do that, Robert?
Yes, yeah, I have
Well,
a
then
lot of
I'll
other
accept that. I
projects,
think
a lot of
you've been
projects I'm working
a
on right now.
wonderful-
Here.
well, you've
Yeah.
left a legacy here.
Oh, my
for us.
gosh. I love it that each of us come from such a different place, that I think it makes a really good, we're not all exactly alike in our opinions. We all will speak out and say what's on our mind, which is why we're here, representing the mayor in town. And I miss you being on here. I think you've been a great addition, and certainly, my
Well, I'm
gosh,
not
what a
going anywhere, I'm
legacy.
still around.
Well, we expect to see you sitting out there challenging us, then at least come here and challenge us and ask questions we might, should have, could have, didn't. So, oh my gosh, does that mean you slide over there, you don't get to sit by me anymore, you go over to
I don't know.
Typically, yeah.
Yep.
Sorry to hear that, Robert.
No, I'm sorry to hear it.
Now, you say you sent it to the mayor in
No,
January?
I have the letter here. I
Oh,
wanted to
okay.
read it first. I'm going to give it to you. If you don't mind, maybe you can give it to him.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
So yeah, we would have John sit as a member, and then we will get we'll get another alternate named by the mayor. So if you have anybody, the mayor has a different system. If you have interest, you need to go through his office, you go through Joanne Unger at the town hall. If you have a colleague or a neighbor or, someone who's expressed interest to you, please have them contact the mayor's office and Joanne. And usually what we do, we have had some interview process. Usually several of us meet with a candidate for the different boards and commissions, or the mayor himself. The last few, the mayor himself has met and talked to people on different boards and commissions. So if you know anybody, like one of your neighbors, or if we can get, John will meet regularly with you and vote with you, and we'll have another alternate.
All right, we get a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
I'll second that motion.
Only way to get a promotion.
Thank you. Oh, that's great. Well, you were really good about coming on the time, too.